Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Unpack Radio, where we unpack the issues in our community. We talk about the topics that people are too afraid to address, and nothing will be swept underneath the rug here. We will be having an open and honest dialogue about the issues that need to be unpacked within our communities. Tonight, we will be talking about redemption. What does redemption look like? What does redemption really mean to the community? And how do you find redemption? We'll be talking about this topic in a few minutes. I have two great guests. I have Andrew Wilson, I have Mike Jones, and yes, we will be discussing tonight redemption. Why do we need redemption in our community? Why do we need to put down some of the items that we have picked up with the drugs, the fast money, and the fast lifestyle? So we'll be back in 1 minute with Andrew Wilson, and we will be talking about redemption. First and foremost, welcome, Andrew. I know you're a personal friend of mine.
That's right.
But nobody knows your story. So I'm going to pretend like I don't know you. We're going to start from the beginning as much as you can recollect.
Okay.
Where were you born?
I was born, man, in one of these motherfucking hospitals in Washington, D.C.
What area did you grow up in?
Northeast 3131. That's what they call it now.
And what is that neck of the woods? Is that
South Dakota, Bladensburg Road, man.
South Dakota, Bladensburg Road?
That's right.
Now,
yeah.
Did you grow up in a single parent household, or did you have a full family? How was your upbringing?
Single parent household.
Yes.
Well, I don't know, my grandmother.
Your grandmother?
Yeah.
Now,
I'm from the area, man. We came up in our grandparents' house.
Now, why is that?
Well, Pops was down Lawton doing motherfucking 24 to life. You did what I'm saying? For some robbery shit. Mom's was there though. Mom's was there in and out, but you know, the streets. You know how the streets is, cause she's a straight gangster. But my grandma, you know, is stable. And then I think when I was like a baby, my grandfather was like, told my moms, "Fuck you." This, you know what I mean? We got him. You can go do whatever the fuck you do. And so my grandmother, she raised me, but my mom's was definitely around. You know what I mean? I had some positive people in the house. It was me, my grandmother, my uncle lived in the basement. You know what I'm saying? Which wasn't a bum move back then, but they call you a bum now if you do that.
Definitely they would. Now you say your father was doing some time for robbery. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah. He robbed a Safeway on 12th Street. Well, I think that was I ain't even fuck the cross street. 12th and Varnum. No, not Varnum. I don't know. Down on 12th Street, and during the robbery, he got shot. They bagged his ass, and they sent him up for 24 to life.
24 to life. Now, did you go visit him while he was in? How did that feel?
Yep. My mother would come and get me and take me down Lawton, and I would be down there with like him, all his buddies, the neighborhood. You know what I mean? All the people from the neighborhood, because you know they hung with people in the neighborhood, and they did their dirt as a team. You know what I mean? And I still, well, the pictures are gone now, but I had pictures of me with the little hee-haw jumpsuit on and shit with all his buddies around, all them looking like gangsters, and I'm this man having fun down the motherfucker.
Now, how did that affect you, being around all these so-called guys who are pretty much out here thugging and drugging?
Well, I guess the most critical thing it did was it made jail all right. I was like by the time I got to junior high school and they took me down to Lawton for that scared straight shit, I'm like, man, y'all got the game fucked up. Pops right over there. You did what I'm saying? All these, you know, the homies, they'll look out. So, but I think it just created a situation where I wasn't scared to go to jail.
Now, why do you think that was, that you had no fear to go to jail?
That's where all my folks was at. So when people disappear from the streets, they're only in one or two places. They either in the graveyard or the jail cell. Wasn't a whole lot of graveyard, but it was a whole lot of jail cell.
Now, what led to your path? Because I know your personal story about the alcohol. So what led your path to that lifestyle right there with the alcohol and slinging and all that other stuff? So what led
you
you
talking
to that
about all
path?
that shit and the getting high and everything, man.
Yes, and what led
and
you
I'm
to
gonna tell you
that
something. I'm gonna tell you something. Just before we close, a lot of people don't know this about me because you see me now and how I carry myself and the things that I'm able to do and the circles that I'm able to move in. A lot of people wouldn't even know or don't recognize one of the biggest crackheads in the 80s that was walking the streets.
That was you?
Oh, yeah, that was me. I'll take your shit in a minute.
Now, before we get to that part, when did you first just start, like, I'm going to really hit these streets? And for your best recollection, what was the first thing you know it was like, I want to be on these streets?
All my buddies was. So first of all, I spent too damn long in junior high school before I stepped into a high school.
Why is that?
And because I kept staying back, because big fish, little pond. You dig what I'm saying? Big fish, little pond. And plus, I was already getting hired in that boat, man. I love that boat. I was a technician with that shit.
Time out. You telling me in junior high school that you were already on boat? What led to that?
Yeah, what led to it? Shit, we used to walk up K-Wood and go get weed. And one time, a buddy of mine, Southeast Reggie, he dead now. Southeast Reggie, because he was from Southeast, but he went to school with us in Northeast. He was selling some boat. We cut school and was supposed to go and sell boat. But we smoked the J. They rolled the J, and we smoked that motherfucker. And I was so motherfucking high, right, that I had to watch the stash. And I sat and watched this motherfucking tree for about 3 hours. But the kicker was this right here. The high felt good as shit. You couldn't tell me nothing, because I ain't give a fuck about nothing. I ain't care what nobody was doing. I ain't care what was said. You did what I'm saying? This felt good. So from there, it was all about, man, shit, escaping feelings.
Why were you trying to escape your feelings? That's
Because
interesting.
like when I was young in elementary school, so all my friends, they had their fathers. You did what I'm saying? The fathers would take them to the barber shop and all that old kind of shit. I had my grandmother. I didn't have like a male. I remember my godbrother was graduating from middle school, and they had the prom, right? And one in the neighborhood, they was like, man, Andy, won't you ask so-and-so, she don't have a date for prom, won't you ask her to take her to the prom? So I'm like, all right, cool. So I asked her, and she said, yeah, you can take me to the prom, la, 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 la. So prom day come, time to go get a haircut.
Yes.
My godbrother's father,
Yes.
taking them to go get a haircut. I ain't had no man to take me to get a haircut. So, and he knew that. And he was like, man, Andy, come on, we're going to get you a haircut too.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I like the feeling that he cared about me, but it's also the other side of that coin where, damn, I ain't got nobody to take me to go get a haircut. You did what I'm saying?
I get you. I get where you're coming from.
And on top of that, my grandmother didn't have the money to buy me, like, I think at the time, shoes wasn't $100 back then.
It's like maybe
let's clear that up.
$50 maybe at the highest.
If you had a pair of $60 tennis shoes on, you was doing the motherfucker.
You were the shit.
Right? But I used to wear the shoes that when you at the A&P come get ready to check out.
Yes.
They had these tennis shoes at the checkout line.
At the grocery store.
In the little basket. In the little bin. And it was like a Nike sign, but it was upside down.
I know what you're talking about. I wore those shoes on many days. Yes.
So I had them. And I'll never forget this. I couldn't go to school without shoes, but the minute I get out of school, them shoes coming off. I'd be outside playing. Fuck shoes.
All right.
You know what I mean?
So what led you really down your dark path?
Not understanding what that path entailed, and not understanding how hard it would be to get off of it once you realize that it's fucked up. You did what I'm saying?
Now, did you have any type of role models, anything that try to pull you away from the street life?
Absolutely. I absolutely did. Not necessarily grown role models, but out of the little circle that I hung with, I was the only one that got high. So everybody was like, man, Andy, why you fucking with that shit, man? Leave that shit alone, man. We get money. La, 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 la. You dig? And, but shit, by then, it was like, man, too motherfucking late. It was too motherfucking late. I was already caught up in the grips of addiction. You know what I mean?
Now, at that point, what was your main addiction?
Crack that little white ball. That little white ball. Now, I was a whole crackhead, man. I'm trying to tell you.
Now, what would you do to get high at that point?
I would rob your ass.
Now,
I would steal your shit.
Were you a gun robber, fist robber,
Well-
strong arm robbery?
Well, I try to say more of a finesse robber. You did what I'm saying? Because I ain't want no smoke. I just wanted to get high. But if the smoke came, then the smoke came. You did what I'm saying? Now, I will say this. I spent a big chunk of my life in prison. I've never been to jail for drugs. I've always been to jail for firearm charges, armed robberies, shit like that.
We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that journey.
Yeah.
So what was the biggest consequences for your robberies at the time you were robbing people?
Biggest consequence was when the judge sentenced me to 30 motherfucking years.
30 years.
Yeah, I got mad.
What did you get
30
mad
years? Motherfucker, 30 years? Think I was just trying to get high. Fuck you mean?
for? How old were you when you got 30 years?
I think I was 20. I may have been 20.
Whoa.
You know, so I did all of my 20s in prison. Cross country, you know what I mean, all that.
Where were you sentenced to?
Well, Lawton. I
Lawton?
went to Lawton first. And once they closed Lawton, we was, man, I ended up in Florence, Colorado, Leavenworth, Kansas, Florence, Arizona, Memphis, Tennessee. Man, it's just shipping us around.
Now, during your height in prison, were you able to still overcome your addictions, or did it get worse?
I ain't have a problem getting high in jail. I didn't get high in jail.
So you were able to get high while in jail.
Yeah, if I wanted to. I didn't get high in jail
Why didn't you?
because they had walls. They had walls, man. Can you imagine me taking a hit, man, and not being able to leave my motherfucking cell? Shit, not me.
So while you were in jail, did this start your path down the right path, or did you still dip and dabble in bullshit?
Well, I bullshitted, but I did. Well, I tell you what did happen. What did happen when I was in prison, because I just wanted to get the fuck out, and I understand that in order to get the fuck out, I had to stay out of trouble. So I did a lot of reading.
What did you
I'm
read?
talking about. I read everything. I read everything from like autobiography of Malcolm X, self-help books. My favorite book, Standing at the Scratch Line. And a lot of people don't like it's a lot of fictional books out there that give you some real life lessons if you pay attention to what's going on. And I enrolled in college when I was there. You know, that's why it's hard for me to get behind this motherfucker Biden. Because I was in prison when he wrote that motherfucking crime bill.
91 or the 92 crack laws?
The-
Or the 88
well-
crack laws?
well,
Because he
actually-
did both. He did
Right,
the 88
I'm talking about
and
the
then the 92.
The 1993
Oh,
reform.
because that's
Right.
when he stopped letting you guys go to college. All
Exactly.
That other stuff. Now, how did that affect you?
So
Because you were on the right path trying to get your education, and somebody who's
Yeah, I
currently
was-
about to get elected, maybe,
yeah.
did something to personally affect you. So,
Yeah.
what did that do to you while you were in there in 92, 93?
So while I was there in 1993, I enrolled in UDC Lawton Prison Program.
Mm-hmm.
Things was going great. I was on track to receive my associate's degree, and I want to say 2.5 years. Right?
Outstanding.
And so then they passed the law that he wrote, and the big consequence for me in that law wasn't the sentencing piece, because all they did was take away the 2-number sentencing. They just did truth in sentencing guidelines. You did what I'm saying, and abolish parole. So they didn't really give people more time. They just said, this is what the fuck you gonna do. But when they read a study that said from 1988, I want to say from 87 to 82, they did a study. 98.87 or 8% of all inmates who received college degrees while incarcerated never came back to jail.
That is very true, because
Right.
Rick Ross did an interview, and he said he was talking to a buddy, the real Rick Ross,
Yeah.
Freeway Rick Ross. And he said that he realized while talking to his buddy that education leads you away from trouble, because everybody who without a high school diploma, normally in the area where they were from, would die. Now, once you found your redemption, once you're out, did you immediately start your path to redemption?
Hell
And
nah.
oh.
Hell nah, but I'll speed up for you because we ain't got that much time. I went back and forth to jail I got released the first time in 2002, so I went back and forth, and I didn't earnestly get clean until 2012 when they sent me down Northern Neck Regional Jail, and I sat in that motherfucker, and I was like, listen, this ain't jail I'm used to. I can't do this shit no more. So I came out. When I came out, And I was still addicted. I was still drug addicted. So I came out and I went to rehab, and I said to myself, this it right here. And since April the 5th, 2012, I have been making the necessary decisions to not be high.
Never again.
Now the caveat to not being high, that's all I wanted. I just don't want to be high, because everything else will fall in place. Like me not being high, I'm able to keep going to work every day. Me not being high, I'm able to spend my money and pay my bills the right way.
Yes.
Me not being high, I become dependable to the people who I need to be dependable for. You get what I'm saying? So education is definitely like a big piece of redemption. You dig what I'm saying? But it also, the biggest piece is, do I want to redeem myself?
Now, my last question. I know you got a lot of programs now helping out ex-felons. Can you name some of those programs?
Well, right now I'm currently the director of programs and services for a nonprofit over in Southeast, and we specialize in clean and safe services throughout the city. We clean up in business corridors, we beautify the corridors, and we hire ex-offenders, people trying to get themselves clean, people who have not worked, or people who haven't worked in a long time.
Now, where can they find you at if they want to get some help? If they really want to get redemption, where can they find
No,
you?
if they really want to get redemption, you got to dial 311.
311?
Yeah, man, go on. If you need a job, go on over to Department of Employment Services, man. Don't call me.
All right.
Don't call me, 'cause I'm thinking bullshit.
What is your call to action before I let you go? What is your call to action?
Personal responsibility.
Personal responsibility.
Personal fucking responsibility.
And what does personal responsibility look like?
That looks like if you in my motherfucking community and you fucking up, I need to call you to task on it. And if you don't straighten the fuck up and stop destroying my community, then, hey, we need to get somebody involved that can get your ass the fuck up out of here.
And that's no more to be said. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be bringing up Mike Jones for more redemption. Thank you, Andrew. We're going to bring you back at the end of the show for man law.
My man.
So you get to think of a funny
Man
concept.
law violations.
Welcome back to Unpack Radio, and I have my next guest, Mike Jones, and we are talking about redemption. And what does redemption look like, and how do you find redemption? Now, me and you have been friends for a long time, my brother. You have an excellent story. Sometimes I tell people you remind me of T.I., and we don't show them today because your vocabulary is very, very advanced. But before we get into your redemption story, who are you and where are you from?
Well, you know, Mike Jones on Facebook, real name Steven. So, I'm from Fifth and O. You know what I'm saying? Northwest.
Oh, how was it at Fifth and O Northwest back in those days?
Oh man, how was it?
Give us a layout, because that's my neck of the woods right there, off of Kennedy, Kennedy Playground area.
Yeah, get on the ground every night. You know what I'm saying? It was a fire drill. You hear them gunshots, you know what time it is. Just get down wherever you at, point blank. Because it was coming every night at that time.
And what year was this roughly? Because I know you.
Well, I was born in '83, born around there, so you know what I'm saying. All the way up until it probably slowed down, maybe when I got about 17.
So
up until maybe about 2000, it slowed down. From what I hear, is, you know.
It's a lot better, a little better.
Nah, from what I hear, they say it's back like it was back in the 80s and 90s.
That's sad. We talking about
sad.
Northwest, right?
Northwest, yeah.
Northwest over there by the Giant.
Yeah.
Now, so you telling me from your childhood until maybe your late teens, you had to deal with nothing but violence. So what was the layout of the community, and how did you navigate that?
Well, the layout was pretty much, you know, my block, we beefing with the block 2 blocks up the street, 2 blocks down the street. Might be aliases or alliances with, you know what I'm saying, 2 blocks over. Beefing with them 2 blocks up the street, 5 blocks up the street, we beefing with them too. So, you know, that was pretty much.
Now, during those times, what did the actual beef really look like? Was it more
beef
hands? Was it guns? Was it sticks, baseball bats?
You know, up until, I guess you say preteens, well, up until about the preteens, early teens, it was pretty much fighting, you know what I'm saying? From, I say about, because we didn't really understand that we was beefing until about 1st grade. If that's late. But from that point on, you know, we'll start fighting, you know, 1st grade, so they had to start, separating us, then rezoning schools because of the fights, and from there it grew, escalated from fighting to turned into gunshots.
Now, when did you first start really, really hitting the streets?
Well, I jumped off the porch kind of early. I'd say maybe about between 10 to 12.
10 and 12, you were already on the streets? What were you doing at 10 and 12? What type of activities were you
Okay,
into?
so because this was the thing, right? For me, I was one of them people. I was a hustler. So, it started when I was probably about 8 years old. I would go to the grocery store, bags, pump gas, whatever I could do, to make $1. Backhand, use that money, backhandy, go to school, sell out. I was already in the business of entrepreneurship, just on a small scale. So it was just, when I seen these dudes with, all the Maximas, Benzes, Audis, Adidas sweatsuits, like that was the American dream for.
Oh, back in the day, that good old Jetta with the
Yeah.
Dayton's on it.
Z's, That was the American dream for people in the environment that I grew up in. Like you would hope to go play basketball, you would hope to go play football, or you would hope to possibly be a comedian. But that was pretty much, if you want that, you wanted to be a big time drug dealer. If you wanted to, realize the American dream.
Now, me and you personally were having a conversation a few days ago about your dad. Can you give us a little backstory on that? You want to talk about it?
Oh, well, what my man Park say, nutted in my mother, and I ain't seen him. Well, I see him because my grandmother was, involved in my life, but that's pretty much it. If my grandmother didn't come get me, I wouldn't know who the hell he was.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, how does that make you feel? Because your father's still here now.
Yeah, he's still here, and it's the same thing. I go see my grandmother. He's in the room.
Now, have you ever just really sat down and talked to him and like really let your emotions out? Because your father, I see you with your kids. You have a beautiful family.
I went to approach the conversation. I don't think he man enough to be able to stand up to that conversation. And that was what I sensed from, me, because he knew where I was going with the conversation, and me being the type of person that I am. I know I'd have got a little too emotional about it. I didn't want to put my hands on him, so I decided to digress.
So in between dipping and dabbling on the streets, did you have any type of role models that try to pull you off of them, or was it just all run and gun?
It was pretty much run and gun. I'm saying, I had my football coach because they seen something in me. Outside of that, it was pretty much the dudes in the streets was my role models. Me and my cousins were the ones who, that's who I was growing up with. We was teaching each other stuff. We were all the same age though, because the older people that was a little older than us was all females. All the males were strung out on drugs, which were my uncles and them. My uncles, my fathers. They was out, like he said, using crack, so they wasn't around to teach us anything. So we had to learn everything from the female or from watching the dudes that was in the streets that wasn't on drugs, that was doing something that we, wanted to do.
So once you started getting into your fast lifestyle of really, really hustling, where were you at? What were you doing? How was the scene then?
I was at that time, I was back and forth between Virginia, D.C. I was pretty much moving around at that point. The scene was what I made it because I moved around so much. So, at that point, it was, it was pretty much, like I said, what I made it. I didn't have to be in the trenches, at that point. Once you made it, you don't have to do certain things. So, I was, it was pretty much what I made it. So without having much knowledge to the streets, on that aspect, everything was just on go because that's all I knew. It was one speed and it was no way to slow me down. It was guns, drugs, everything was just like what you see on social media now. We didn't have social media, but that was the lifestyle.
That was the
what
lifestyle.
I'm saying? Yeah.
So at your height, how much were you actually pushing?
I wouldn't say.
You wouldn't say. Now, you initially you did get nicked. So how much time did you really have to do, or what did you get sentenced to?
Well,
and why did you get sentenced at that time?
Well, at the time they was trying to run my sentence wild, but you know what I'm saying, the judge, he pretty much was lenient on that part. That was the only thing he was lenient about, because I was young and I ain't know anything about anything. So they pretty much tried to railroad me after already railroad me, and the judge ain't let them do that. They was trying to, like they did with him, they was trying to give me 30. The judge was like, nah, I'm not going to let you do that. First time I had been arrested, you know what I'm saying? It was my first everything. So I end up getting like 130, end up coming home like after 110 or something like that, doing like close to 10 years. Nine, like it was like 9 and some months.
So what's the worst you seen while you were doing those 10 years?
What was the worst? I'm saying,
Yeah,
you seen people hang themselves, you seen people get killed, you seen people I'm saying everything. Like, you know what I'm saying? Everything. Like, I ain't seen nobody getting raped or none of that. That's the only thing I could say that I never witnessed, because the era that we was in, it was a little different when it came to stuff like that. Not saying that it didn't happen. I knew about it happening, but you wouldn't see it out on Front Street. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, all the violence, you know what I'm saying? Locking the sock, you know what I'm saying? Hot oil, hot oatmeal, whatever the case you call for.
Now, while you doing this time, how did you really mentally handle it?
Oh, for real, I like, that's where I learned to become a man at. Because that was the first time I was really around some strong, solid men who taught me, you know what I'm saying, what it was about being a man, being stand-up, having morals. Like, I already had certain things ingrained in me just being me, and it's just, they helped me to develop it, you know what I'm saying, culture myself, you know what I'm saying, show me how to, like, shorty, know who you are, you know what I'm saying, being more confident in yourself and being more conscious with the things that you were doing. So, you know what I'm saying, like, I like, there's a lot of good men that I left behind, and at times it broke my heart to have to do it, you know what I'm saying, but it had to be done.
So you telling me while in the system, you already out in the world, but you found great men within the system to mentor you to never come back.
Yeah, no question.
Wow. Now,
No
how does
question.
that really mentally feel to you now that you're out here? I see you on the streets. You're always doing something good in the community. Last time I seen you on Facebook, giving the police little words of encouragement on some illegal stuff they were trying to do. So why is it that you can find a mentor within the system, but you couldn't find one outside of the system?
At that time, for real, it was one of them things of with the older dudes used to always say, "Oh, they wild, I'm gonna stay away from them." It was more of that, you know what I'm saying? When I went in the system, it wasn't that, because guess what? Everybody wild. You know what I'm saying? So it was more like, shorty, let me teach you something before you crash all the way out, because that's what they seen happening with. You know what I'm saying? So it was more like they was, you know, more willing to grab me and culture me, because you had dudes in there be sitting over there like Drew, and they never coming home, but you would never know. You know what I'm saying? But seeing dudes like that, like, dang, he got life, and you would never know it from the mannerisms, from the way that they are. They just calm. So I was like, man, if they like that, what am I tripping about?
So you telling me while in the system you learn a place of calm. Now I know you taught yourself the laws and everything while in jail. Can you explain a little bit of that?
Oh yeah, I had to. You know what I'm saying? That was part of the way I fought myself to get, you know what I'm saying, some of the time that I did get off. By the time I finally got in court, then they had to, you know, take the rest of that off, go ahead and send me on home.
How much time did they take off?
They took the rest of the 20 months off that I had left. You know what I'm
And
saying?
how did you really get that off your neck?
On 2255, ineffective assistance to counsel, pro se.
wow.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I studied. I'm saying that when I finally took my emotions out of law, that's when I started to realize, oh, you know what? This is just a game, and that's what it is. It's just a game, but you can't be emotionally tied to your situation in order to really see what they did and what went wrong in your case.
So once you take a step back, you got the guidance that you need within the system. You started picking up law books and taught yourself the law to get a little bit of time off your neck.
Yeah.
Now I see you in the community now. So what are you doing now in the community?
Same thing, like right now I'm working with my sons and a couple of his men. It's like 8 to 10 of them. What we about to start is basically a credit building group. We're going to, you know, young business entrepreneurs. So we're going to start them off with tri-merging their credit, teaching them about credit, you know what I'm saying, how to build it and use their credit to start doing wealth building. So once I start with them, then, you know, now I got a couple soldiers, they can go out to the community and do the same thing.
Now, my next question is, I see you out here mentoring young men. You're not afraid to go out here on these streets where it's pretty rough at. How do you approach them?
I approach them, just being me. That's it.
That's being you without
Yeah.
fear.
Authentic. I'm saying
Now-
it's like a dog and you know what I'm saying, like a lion. They sense that fear. So you come in there. If you're genuine, then they know you're not coming to bring no harm. They know you're coming exactly for something that's, you know what I'm saying, probably worth listening to.
All right, now before I bring Andrew back up, what is your call to action?
My call to action is, man, just to get our community back to greatness, man. That's it.
What does greatness look like in our community?
Greatness looks like people not getting shot down because they using social media as a avenue to say this is a reason why, or you know what I'm saying, just us being more conscious. Like you said, education for real is the key. Once we become educated, man, it opens up your mind to so many things, and it opened up different avenues, and that's what we lost at.
Now, I see two great brothers who have both said pretty much the same thing. If it was for more guidance, a better education system, and a little bit less BS, that y'all could have y'all doing some great things now, and I think y'all are super great men. And I appreciate you good brothers for telling the story. I'm going to bring y'all both back up. We're going to try to come up with some community solutions in 1 minute. Welcome back to Unpack Radio. I'm your host, The Pope. I have Andrew Wilson and Mike Jones.
Yay!
Let's get into some community questions. For both you guys, what can we do now? We see what's going on in the news. We see what's going on in the streets. What can we do as men to kind of bring down some of the fuckery?
As men, we have to lead by example. Like I can't on the one hand, like go out and fake represent the street code, and then be mad when the youngest that look up to me roll with the street code. You did what I'm saying? Like I work with the youth. I used to work with DYRS and the whole nine, and I tell them all the time, man, I ain't no motherfucking street nigga no more. You got me fucked up. I got bills. I got responsibilities. I don't have time to be out here playing. You know what I mean?
What do you think, Mike?
I think, man, because I know my struggle was always with money. So, like, for my angle is always going to be through the finances. You know what I'm saying? I think for real, we can, and that's another thing. Like, you get these dudes a way to get up out the hood. Guess what they going to do? They going to get up out the hood. You no longer have to feel the need to be in the jungle. You know what I'm saying? And it just opens up opportunities that they just don't realize and know about.
So do you think it would be best for both of you guys that they change the educational system to more of how to early boost your financial structure with trades and how to really work with your hands? How does credit really work? How can you really invest your money? Stuff that they really don't talk about in our type of neighborhoods. You think that would be better?
Of course. Our life really works.
So let me say this. You grown man, right?
I'm grown ass man.
When the last time you did a fucking algebra problem?
Never.
Exactly.
Never.
That's my motherfucking point.
Never.
So a lot of shit, if it's not specific, when I was in school, they had all the trades. If you wanted to be a plumber, electrician, auto mechanic, the schools, the DC high schools were paired with vocational training schools, right? But I agree with what Mike said. When we was first really trying to get the organization going and really get some people to work, we had a saying when we used to talk to them, the council members and everything else. It's sad when the dad can't buy ice cream.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And I'll tell you, I'm quick to say I give no fucks about social issues. The only thing I give a fuck about is, can you take care of yourself?
Correct.
You dig?
That's a good point.
Everything else fall in place.
Right. When do you have time to even pay attention to social issues when, like you said, you can't even, where am I going to stay at tonight? You know what I'm saying? How I'm going to get my next meal?
Yeah. You know what I mean? And I ain't joining nobody's march. I don't give a fuck about equality because shit ain't been equal since the beginning of this country, and it ain't gonna be equal.
There you have it.
So, like for me, and I'm talking, I only speak for me, I only give a fuck about black people having a financial platform to do something for themselves first, and then create a lane to bring somebody with you.
Like I always tell people, have you ever noticed in the white communities they have Michael and son, but where's our and son? Because I see in our community, it's always I got mine, you got to get yours. Have y'all noticed that also in the community where you go out here and people always like, I got me, but you got to figure out on this shit on your own, or I don't want to tell you because I don't want to help you. So what can we do to overcome just the selfishness in the black community?
Mike?
Man, sacrifice.
So we have to be willing to sacrifice.
Man, sacrifice and discipline.
So what
Yeah.
does really sacrifice look like?
Andrew Wilson.
Andrew Wilson.
I'll tell you this right here. So there are plenty prominent people in DC that know who I am, exactly who I am. And I don't run around boasting who I am or anything like that. I don't need the limelight. You understand what I'm saying? I don't need the limelight, because if you give me the limelight, I'ma fuck it up. Because people gonna start looking at my backstory, and then people gonna be like, well, shit, all he want is 3 goals. I got 3 daily goals. Stay out these motherfuckers' way, make me a few dollars, and get a little bit of pussy. Then my daily goals. And they gonna use me getting a little bit of pussy against me if I want the limelight.
So you trying to say they gonna hit you with the Marion Barry?
They might. They might.
You gonna be coming for the sex, and they gonna plant some drugs.
Hey
on
man, I'll be sitting there on the edge of the bed with the pipe like this here. They come busting through the door. You know what I mean? Talking about how you like this thing. How you like it. No, but for real, like I don't need the limelight. I've had programs. I've been profiled in the Washington Post for youth programs I had, and the thing is, I don't care nothing about the limelight. But once you finish working with me, did you learn enough to go do something for yourself?
There you have it.
Now, how does it feel when somebody come back to you and be like, "You made an impact in my life for both of you guys"? You want to take them?
Hey man, that shit gangster.
Yeah.
That's gangster. I told you I used to work with the youth, and they gave us the worst of the work. What they thought was the worst of the work. I had a program. I used to take the youth, and we used to cut grass for the senior citizens. They love that shit. None of them knew how to start a lawnmower before they got with me, right? And a couple of them came back and say, "Man, hey Drew, y'all still cutting grass?" So I'm like, "Man, they killed that program, man, right after y'all left." Say, "Man, shit, I be out here cutting grass like a motherfucker, man.
Nah, yeah.
I'm glad I learned that shit. I don't hustle."
Now, is that a better high than when you was on drugs?
It is. It
So
is.
You tell me now the best high is just passing your knowledge to another young man.
It has to be. It has to be. I have, and I only speak for me. I have a sense of responsibility to my community. And by me having a sense of responsibility to my community, it's only right that I try to teach what I know. Because I know how to get some money. You can take everything I got right now. All I need is, man, shit. You can give me a broom and a dustpan. I'm good.
Yeah.
But in the midst of this, am I teaching somebody else some skills that they can go out and make some money with as little resources as possible?
Yeah.
See, that's the thing.
That's what I've been saying all my life. Because I believe that the community is set up for us to be beggars instead of out here having call to actions.
No, that's what
The
it
community not set up for that.
It's the education
Is the
system.
education system? Is it the
These
government?
niggas.
It's the education system.
It's these niggas.
John
These
D.
niggas set that
Rockefeller.
shit up.
So
John
you
D.
think
Rockefeller now.
you think I hate to use the word ignorant people.
Niggas.
Ignorant people want to be able to be beggars.
Just think about it. As long as you under thumb of services as a community, you are not a threat to my way of life. But the minute, see, this the thing about black people, man. We are fucking resourceful.
Yes,
Right?
we are. Very.
But see, that's the one thing I got to be debatable on, because we're hundreds of years behind on purpose. You got to understand, like our grandparents, they didn't have access to the stock market. They didn't have access to the credit. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have access to a lot of stuff that we're now just being privy to. So being that we don't have the education is because our grandparents couldn't use it. Our parents were barely able to use it. So how can they teach their kids how to use these things? You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
the system was set up for it to be that way. And we know that the educational system was strictly set up for us to be employees. It wasn't set up for us to build a business, run a business. It wasn't even set up nowadays for us to know how to write a check.
Right.
They're obsolete, but you
Right.
should know how to do that.
Right now, see, we talking about now. See, prior to the early '90s, right? They gave us everything we needed to be self-sufficient. You did what I'm saying?
They gave us everything we needed except for the education. That
Look,
was the most important part.
But we had it.
We didn't have
We
it.
had it. Just think about this. Just think about this. Before integration and civil rights, we had our own everything. We was good.
Yeah, but guess what? They changed the system. They changed the system from a dollar system,
Right.
which was backed by what?
Gold.
By the gold and
Yeah,
silver,
gold standard.
to a debt system, which we knew nothing about. They changed the system
Right.
on purpose in order to keep us behind. They're just giving us privy. They're just making us privy to this information because of the information age. They can't hold it from us.
Okay. I mean, I give you that. I give you that. But at the end of the day, we still ain't a threat to them. We
No,
still ain't a threat to them.
Now we're not a threat because guess what? Now it's up to us to catch up with the education system. But right before our eyes, guess what they're doing? They're changing it yet again to keep us behind.
Yeah, they gonna always change it. So we gotta work outside of their system. We gotta go
Correct.
back to what works for us.
Correct.
We
Correct.
need bricklayers. Because guess
Correct.
what? They can change the system all they want to. But if they want a building built, they should need to come to us.
Yeah.
As opposed to when they tricked our community into thinking that going to college was the be
The
all
key.
end all.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because just think about this. If I learn how to build a building, if I learn bricklaying,
Mm-hmm.
then I don't need to work for nobody.
Correct.
You can just call me and say, man, listen, I need a fireplace built, I need
That's
a
with
house
any
built.
trade.
That's with any trade.
Yeah.
But the minute they tricked our community into thinking that we needed to go to college, right? Because guess what? Once you get that college degree, you still got to go beg for a job.
But what did I say
Those
though?
are the facts, ladies and gentlemen. And one thing I always say about, unfortunately, the civil rights
Civil rights.
issues. Once we stop doing our own stuff, having our own bus companies, our own cab companies, Lincoln Theater shut down for damn near 40-some years.
Yeah.
Once we went into their world, we stopped living in our own world.
Yep.
We were doing very well for a long time, and somehow it all disappeared once we started stepping foot in their world.
That's right.
That's where I started noticing the drugs, the gangs, the absentee fathers in all our households, all the bullshit that we have now in our community.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I think the best solution is we build up our own financial resources, we buy
That's
our
the
own
biggest
land,
thing.
and we get the fuck up out of here.
That's the biggest thing.
That's what you got to do.
It starts with finances.
Like you can't control anything if you don't control any of the resources.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And like right now, when you talked about them taking the money off of the gold standard and putting on the debt standard, they actually put it on the gross domestic product,
Yes.
right? Which previously used to change.
At that time, they did.
That which previously used to change.
Correct.
It's still under the gross domestic product, but you know what it is now?
Man, they printing money left and right. They don't. Yeah.
Because you know what the product is?
It's the consumerism.
Labor.
Yeah, it's consumerism.
Yeah, labor.
Yeah.
Labor is the gross. How in the fuck is the gross domestic product fucking labor?
It been labor.
That ain't even tangible.
It been labor.
That's not tangible at all. It's
It
backed
been
by
labor.
nothing.
You understand what I'm saying?
Because labor can always go away. Next week, everybody be like,
No,
fuck it, I ain't doing
when
this
they
shit
not
no
when they
more.
have a system to create employees. They can't.
Exactly. See, you create the employee. Like they push you towards all this shit, the hospitality industry, right? And like I tell people, man, that all that jail shit, that shit really wasn't about getting you locked up. It was about disenfranchising you. You understand what I'm saying?
That's all it was.
So watch this. Because I ain't never did nothing fucked up to a kid. I ain't never whoop a kid ass or nothing else. I can't get a job in the school because I'm a convicted felon.
I know.
I robbed shit. What the fuck? I ain't never whooped no motherfucking kid's ass. I robbed shit. So what the fuck? Why I can't work, you know what I mean, in a school?
Or sometimes I heard it's really hard getting housing.
No,
It is.
I can't get housing. Not
You
for me.
can't.
I got a
You
drug
can't.
charge.
You can't.
Yeah.
So they'll tell you this affordable housing. Yeah, it's affordable housing.
But you can't get up
But
in
you
here.
can't get in there. My mother is damn near. Let me see. My mother is damn near 70, right? She went to apply for the motherfucking one of these new shits where they go by your income. You know what they told her?
No.
She make too much.
Nope. They ain't telling she make too much. We can't let you in because you're a convicted felon. You was convicted of such and such back in 1976.
But see, that's what you say. Like
Wait a
you
minute.
said,
They told your mother, who was convicted in 1976,
I swear to God.
that you cannot get this because you're a convicted felon.
That's how
I
they
swear to
feel
God.
about us.
What the hell type of bullshit is that?
I'm trying to tell you. Check this out. Check this out. I sweep the organization I work for. We sweep streets for a living, right? They got an organization called Block by Block that do the same shit that I do,
Yes.
right? And before we was doing this, we ran workforce development. I sent a lady to them. That work in Georgetown, doing the same shit outside sweeping up, right? They told her that because of the corporate rules, and she had a misdemeanor from the 1970s, they couldn't give her a job.
Jesus Christmas. Now, that's my main complaint because I know a lot of people with felonies. Why is it so hard to get? How do they expect you not to come back? They don't want to let you live. They don't want to give you a damn job. They don't want to give you an education. How do they expect you not to come the fuck back when they keep on holding you down? That's my question to
I'm
both
saying,
of
but
y'all.
guess what? You got to stop relying on the system.
Stop relying on them. Create your own lane.
There you have it.
So the best thing to do when you done some shady stuff is to
But
create
listen
your own
though,
lane.
listen though, that's just not for just people that have felonies. That's
No,
for everybody. Because
everybody.
guess what? Once you get from up under their thumb, the government can no longer have rulership over you. Because
Right.
that's all it's about. It's about rulership. Citizenship made us slaves, man, and that's what
Right.
people missing. So guess what? They're able to put out these laws and stuff, and you have to abide by them through citizenship. That's where we got to get them our money. You know what I'm saying? When we signed up for citizenship, we signed up to pay them for the rest of our life for nothing.
All right, we're going to take a 1 minute break and then we're going to wrap up. Welcome back to Unpack Radio. I am your host, The Pope, and it is time for the daily man law violation. And I've been waiting 2 years to fire you up, sir. I don't know your name. I don't remember what the hell you look like, but I know this much about you. Next time you are on Southwest Airlines flying your funky ass to Dallas, I need you to spray your fucking shoes and not take them off. Next time I see you and I gotta wake up on my nap and ask my wife whether or not she eating corn chips, I'm gonna personally get up, choke your ass out, and beat the hell out you. Cause at the end of the day, it's not necessary for a grown ass man. I'm like this, chilling, sleep, good sleep. I wake up like, Kim, you eating corn chips? Did you fart? What the hell is going on? I look 2 rows to the left. My man got his shoes off, comfortable. But corn chips is hitting everybody in the face. My dude, wash
That
your
wasn't me, was
damn
it?
feet.
Was that wasn't me, was it?
No, that wasn't you. Andrew.
This motherfucker was activated. Damn. You got me scared.
Andrew, do you got a bad law violation for somebody?
Man, yeah, I do. So it is unmanly and it is a violation to text a man K.
K? Okay. Or just K?
K.
Yeah, that's a little
That's
great.
a man law violation. Listen, if you're gonna text me, don't text me K if you're a dude. Text me okay.
Okay.
You understand?
Aight.
That's a man law violation.
Alright.
Mike, do you got a bad law violation? It's time to get these
Listen,
jokes
I'm about
off.
to say, yeah, it ain't got nothing. It ain't got nothing to do with me, and I don't know the dude personally. But you know, I caught some shit on Facebook that's definitely a violation. Listen, if you have a bladder problem as a man,
Oh shit!
and you know that you have a bladder problem as a man, please,
Get you a diaper.
please, do not drink any alcoholic beverages at no time in your life. Do you understand me? Because you pissing in a woman's bed is
No.
damn,
So hold on.
damn.
Nah, I disagree. I fucking agree. Pissing in her bed is not the man law violation because he could have been pissing on her, right?
I'm saying that's
Now-
cool. That's cool.
Now
That's
the violation comes in where you didn't put down a puppy pad and had to sleep in the piss. Get you a motherfucking puppy pad and piss your motherfucking life away.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to wrap it up. Next week, I'll be talking to Miss Bella, and we'll be talking about Black Trans Matters. At the close of the show, I want you to remember one thing. We must change the way we eat, we must change the way we live, and we must change the way we act. Tupac. Thank you for joining Unpack Radio. Have a great night.